Today I'm going to talk about how to get more miles in a cost-effective manner. Emphasis on cost-effective because anyone can get more miles, just anyhow spend. No? But that's not really the smart thing to do because the whole point of miles is to get business class flights cheaper. So if you overspend while doing it, you're just falling into the airline and banks trap. I was recently on a TV program where I talked about things like my spending habits and credit card rewards. And someone actually commented, nice to hear only. 1 month expenses, not even $1,000. Even with 40 cards, how many miles can you get? Going to KL? Well, Chick 8548. I don't think this flight is going to KL. The first thing you need to get in order is obviously the kind of mouse cards you use. I know it sounds obvious, but I think this section has a few blind spots that even more experienced mouse people overlook, which I'll elaborate on. If you are not already using high-end cards that give you at least 4 miles per dollar for the bulk of your spend, you are likely using the wrong cards and will need to spend way too much to reach your business class flight. In fact, I'll argue that 4 miles per dollar is the bare minimum and we should try to get more than this earn rate. The first card is DBSU, which gives you 10 miles per dollar, and a common objection I've heard is that some people can't hit the $600 minimum spend on U merchants. I said this a few times before, but I think it bears repeating that you don't have to spend all $600 on U merchants for this card to make sense. As long as you can spend at least $300 on U merchants, you should still use this card because you can spend the other $300 on other spend and you will get 5 miles per dollar for the entire $600 spend. You can also use this card opportunistically. For instance, if you want to buy mobile devices or even a Nintendo Switch 2, do it at Singtel, which is a U partner. Or even if you shop occasionally at Giant, Guardian, and other dairy farm shops, you can buy $600 worth of dairy farm vouchers within the month, then use the vouchers over time. There's no conversion fee to be paid for when transferring your U points to KrisFlyer, and you can convert from a very low number of U points, so you're not penalized even if you don't have a lot of U points and don't use this card often. Another way to get more than 4 miles per dollar would be UOB Ladies cards. I did a video a year ago examining whether it's worth putting savings in UOB Ladies account to get higher earn rates with the UOB Ladies cards. And back then, when interest rates were easily over 3% per annum, with some accounts giving as high as 4 to 5% per annum, it didn't make that much sense. Lately, however, interest rates have come down quite a bit, so I revisited the topic on my website. Check that article out in my Telegram for the full details, but the gist is that I think those who are putting funds in accounts that give around 2% per annum may be better off getting bonus miles from UOB Ladies account instead. Of course, you can make use of high-yield savings account like UOB One, OCBC 360 for more interest. You should definitely continue doing so. But for those who might have excess cash and are parking them in less than 2% per annum accounts, I think you can benefit more from UOB Ladies, provided you spend enough on your UOB Ladies card. I found that if you are spending at least $600 to $800 on UOB Ladies card, you can consider putting $10,000 with UOB Ladies account. If you're spending at least $1,400 to $1,800 on your UOB Ladies Solitaire card, you can even consider the $50,000 and $100,000 tier, provided you value miles a little more. See my article for more details on this. So with about $1,000 of spend, assuming I get around 6 miles per dollar, it's 96,000 miles in a year, which is almost enough for a return flight to Japan or Korea in business class. You don't have to just go to KL. Another thing you should take advantage of right now is sign-up offers. Right now, if you're watching this in June, Amex has an all-time high 100,000 miles offer for Amex Platinum Charge, and this works even if you already have an American Express card. The KrisFlyer Ascent also gives up to 30 to 40,000 miles for new and existing cardholders, so check out my post for more details. In fact, I've collated 9 promos to get miles quickly, so check that out for more details. Now, many of these promos require you to pay an annual fee, but you should definitely not be averse to paying for miles because it can make a lot of sense. That's actually the next thing on my list to get more miles in a cost-effective manner, and that is to be willing to buy miles when the price is right. Now, I know some people will say, hey Seth, why should I buy miles when I can get miles for free by using my miles card? Well, getting free miles is a myth because when you use a miles card to buy $1,000 or something and get your 4,000 miles, you could have used a 8% cashback card and gotten $80. Your free miles have actually cost you $80 or 2 cents per mile. Opportunity cost is still cost. Now, even if we set this aside, let's say you're given the opportunity to buy USD at $1 each. Would you say, nah, I can earn money from working and turn this offer down? I don't think so. Miles is a form of currency that gets you cheap business class flights. So if it is cheap enough, you should definitely buy miles where possible. Cardam and iPayMine are good ways to do so, and I've talked about it before, so I'm not going to repeat myself too much here. And you can check out the guide I've written for these services in my Telegram. City Payor's promo lately isn't the best, but you can still buy miles for about 1.44 to 1.63 cents each. It's a little bit pricey considering how, a couple of years ago it was offering as little as 0.8 cents per mile. But the first 3,000 customers this time can get $100 e-capital voucher, which drastically reduces the cost per mile, and by my calculation, it's under 0.7 cents each. It's a fantastic deal, but again, it's for the first 3,000 customers, and I think it's probably all redeemed already. So you really have to say subscribe to my Telegram and leave notifications turned on so you can get updated on fantastic promos like this.
Do you know there's a credit card that has no minimum income requirement, no interest, and no overseas transaction fees? It's the GXS FlexiCard, and it's a great option for those looking for a starter credit card to build your credit history. While other cards require at least $30,000 annual income, anyone aged 21 and above can apply for the GXS FlexiCard regardless of your income. GXS FlexiCard does not charge any interest. You only need to pay the minimum monthly payment and a $5 Flexi Fee if you need to carry forward your balance to the next month. It is a lot more forgiving than other credit cards, though you should still always pay your credit card bill in full each month. Each eligible transaction you make locally or overseas that is 10 Sing dollars or more even gets instant cashback of up to $3 with no limit on the amount of cashback earned. Unlike many credit cards, there are also no foreign transaction fees, so you can use your card during your holidays without worrying about fees. Also, get an additional 8% cashback for overseas in-store spends with your GXS Flexi card, and for limited time until 30th June, get $20 cashback when you sign up with my code SETH877 and make just one eligible spend of at least $10. Check out the link in my bio now to sign up for GXS Flexi card with fast approval within minutes.
Buying miles also gives you the option of choosing your points. When you use services like Klarna or iPayMy, you're free to use credit cards from different banks, and this is important because not all points are the same. For instance, if you look at something like the Citi Premium Miles and DBS Altitude, you may think that DBS Altitude's 1.3 miles per dollar is a better card to use versus Citi Premium Miles 1.2 miles per dollar. But we have to also consider that DBS points can only go to 3 airlines, while Citi can go to 10 or so airlines. My personal favorite of late is Eva Air, which I used recently for my Europe trip, and it cost me just 160,000 miles per person instead of the 207,000 it would have cost me using KrisFlyer miles. And this is on Singapore Airlines, by the way, even though I used my Eva Air miles to book. I've written a guide on this, so check it out to know what I'm talking about. This is why I value Citi miles at around 20% premium compared to something like DBS points. So Citi Premium miles 1.2 miles per dollar is actually really worth 1.44 miles per dollar in my books. This of course also means that Citi Payos 1.44 to 1.63 cent per mile cost isn't as bad as it looks if you use your Citi points wisely. So definitely continue using your high-earned miles cards for your daily spend, but you should also buy miles when it makes sense. Now the next on my list on getting miles cheaper would be to use cashback cards when the cashback card gives much higher value than the miles cards you are using. Now, I'm sure this sounds weird, but it's a team value strategy. I promise you will get you cheaper miles. I've always found it puzzling that there are miles chasers who will balk at buying miles and they don't want to pay annual fee for miles, but they use a 4 miles per dollar card when there are excellent 8% cashback cards to use. And yes, this is a continuation of my point earlier about opportunity cost. Again, with a $1,000 monthly spend, you could be getting 4,000 miles or $80 of cashback. If you're able to buy miles at 1.5 cents each, $80 gets you 5,300 over miles. And in fact, giving up 8% cashback for 4 miles per dollar is an opportunity cost of 2 cents per mile. So if you can buy miles for anywhere under 2 cents each, you are still better off with an 8% cashback card. That includes paying $196 for 10,000 miles, which is 1.96 cents per mile. Something that many people, including myself, would think is very pricey. But even then, that is cheaper than giving up 8% cashback for 4 miles per dollar, which costs you 2 cents per mile. Now, I can already hear potential objections to this, and I know there are a couple of kinks to this strategy. One, 8% cashback cards tend to be a bit trickier to use than 4 miles per dollar cards. And two, buying miles also has a bit of legwork to do. Now, I agree to this sentiment, but I think in a game of value, it has always been about convenience versus value. If you want business class at the least hassle, just buy the ticket from the airline. This represents the least value, but it's also the most convenient. Otherwise, use miles cards and you will definitely get your business class at a cheaper rate. But of course, I don't think I need to explain that the game of miles requires quite a lot of work in itself. Team value strategy pushes this more towards value, and with that comes a little bit more work. My belief is that cashback cards and buying miles are something that you need to set up as a routine. So for instance, the excellent 8% Maybank Family and Friends card is something that I have very little issue hitting 8% cashback each month because the card's requirement is largely completed by the recurring spend I have each month. Using services like Klarna or iPayMy to buy miles is also something that you should set up on a recurring basis, and in fact, you get a lowered fee when you do set up recurring transactions. The HSBC Live Plus is another example of 8% cashback card that is actually pretty easy to use. When you sign up for the card in your first quarter, you can just spend $1,000 across 3 months and get 8% cashback. An easy way to use this card would just be to use the card and buy Haymax vouchers, which gives you 8% cashback on the card, and then you use your cashback vouchers for places like IKEA, NTUC FairPrice, or what have you over the next few months. So it's a very fast, free way of getting 8% cashback. Is it less convenient than just using a 4 miles per dollar card everywhere? Perhaps, but again, convenience versus value. Let's not forget that 4 miles per dollar cards have really taken a beating lately. Great 4 miles per dollar cards like HSBC Revolution, nerfed, Citi Rewards and Maze, nerfed. So the remaining 4 miles per dollar cards that many people will flock to are likely going to be UOB's 4 miles per dollar cards, and UOB points can only go to Singapore Airlines and Cathay Pacific. Whereas if I buy miles, I get to choose the points and I'll most likely get Citi points. So the 5,333 miles I was talking about earlier, they could be worth more than 6,000 miles if I use my Citi points wisely, compared to the 4,000 miles earned using a 4 miles per dollar card that don't have that many airline choices. So cheaper miles with cashback cards sounds weird, but it is indeed doable. Lastly, but no less important than the other points on this list, will be to look beyond Singapore Airlines when it comes to collecting miles. In an older video, I mentioned that airlines like Eva Air can help you to book flights for less, so definitely check that video out if you haven't already done so. It's the same story when it comes to getting more miles, because airlines frequently give bonus miles for transferring your bank points over. Cathay recently offered 10% and Qatar was offering 30% back in May. Singapore Airlines did give bonus 15% miles a while ago, but that was during the pandemic and they were kind of desperate. It's been almost 4 years since they've done so, and now that they are posting record profits again and again, I doubt they will be giving transfer bonuses anytime soon. Back then, I transferred 500,000 miles worth of bank points and got 75,000 bonus KrisFlyer miles. The good old days. Anyway, other airlines beyond Singapore Airlines is a topic I'll continue to explore, so stay subscribed to my Telegram for updates. And I've already done a guide on Eva Air, so check that out at my Telegram and search for Eva Air Guide. If you want to earn more from your credit cards, savings account, etc., join more than 29,000 people in the Telegram. And now that you have a bunch of miles to use, watch my video on how to use them wisely, and I'll see you in that video.